Coming up on Studio 415, we'll give you an inside look at the principal change happening next year.
We'll show you what Carroll's doing to keep our school safe.
And we'll highlight the results of the boys' swimming meet this past weekend. I hope you're ready.
It's time to enter Studio 415.
Welcome to Studio 415. I'm Sam Edwards.
And I'm Kara Bennett. Many students have heard about principal changes happening, but who is going to fill Mrs. Neumeyer's position when she leaves next year?
Studio 415 reporter Chris Schutte has the details.
When the 2013-2014 school year rolls around, there's going to be a new principal occupying this office. Current Carroll High School principal Deborah Neumeyer will be leaving Carroll and taking on her new role as Director of Secondary Education. When she gets to the main office, she'll be taking on new roles with new responsibilities.
I like working with curriculum. I like working on quality assessments and the evaluation process and all of the figuring out the new state mandates, and those are some of the things I'll be doing.
It's always hard to leave a position where you have such close relationships with your students and coworkers, but Neumeyer feels that at this point in her life, it's a good time to take on this new opportunity.
At the end of the school year, we'll get through graduation and this school year, and then I'll think about it more and probably get more excited about it. I'm just excited about a new challenge. I think it's a good time in my life for that.
Now, Carroll isn't going to be left without a principal. Starting next year, Assistant Principal Sam DiPrimio will be making the transition from his current position to Head Principal. He will now be dealing with more of the adult matters rather than his role now that deals with primarily students.
As far as change goes, is being more in tune to teacher needs, staffing needs, curricular needs, and dealing probably more with parents that have questions that are more scheduling, academic in nature, as opposed to, per se, the discipline component.
Change always takes some time to get used to. There's going to be plenty of it when the next school year rolls around. We wish both Mrs. Neumeyer and Mr. DiPrimio the best of luck and their new opportunities. For Studio 415, I'm Chris Schutte.
Thanks, Chris. The amount of violence in school has been on the rise in recent months. Studio 415 reporter Patrick T. Kent investigated to find out how safe our school really is.
On December 14, 2012, the small town of Newtown, Connecticut was sent into a swirling whirlwind when a man went into Sandy Hook Elementary School and killed 26 students and teachers. It's 1 month after this horrible tragedy, and it's still in the front of our minds. I talked with Officer Reimer about what Carroll is doing to help deter crimes like Newtown from happening here.
They've already had active shooter plans in the works well before Connecticut happened. Unfortunately, Connecticut's not the first school that this has happened in, so prior to that, the plan has already been in action, and you guys do practice that.
Has Carroll or NACS talked about allowing teachers and administrators having the ability to carry weapons in school?
In light of some of the tragic events that have happened in elementary school, that conversation has come up across the country. As far as NACS being involved in any kind of a serious conversation, no, we haven't.
I also had the chance to find out what Carroll can do to keep the school as safe as possible.
What we need to continue to do is what we have been doing, which is use your good judgment. We treat people decently. I don't know who that is. I don't recognize that individual. I don't see a visitor's badge. Let me go tell somebody.
As far as Carroll's security is concerned, Mr. DiPrimio wants to congratulate all of Carroll on a great job. Keep up the great work, Chargers. For Studio 415, this is Patrick T. Kent.
Thanks, Patrick. CHS is proud to announce its Spring Fling on Friday, March 15th.
School is now in session for that day due to the cancellation from last Friday. The dance is scheduled from 7:30 to 10:30 for all sophomores, juniors, and seniors here at Carroll.
Tickets will be sold for $5 and will be on sale for seniors on February 28th, March 5th for juniors, and March 8th for all of the sophomores. For more information, you can contact Mr. Snyder.
Carroll's show choir has had recent success, with Minstrel Magic receiving grand champion at the Huntington North Invitational this past weekend. Studio 415 reporter Grace Phenicie takes us behind the scenes to see the work that goes into these shows. This past weekend, Minstrel Magic and Select Sound traveled to Huntington North to compete. This year, the shows are very different from the past,
Both shows have a central theme, including the Great Depression and Little Red Riding Hood.
People either be scared of Carroll Show Choir or think of us as a joke, but we hope they'll be scared.
As the competition season gets tougher each week, Carroll Show Choir increases its practices every day to ensure that their show is the best it can be.
In the fall semester, we'll practice maybe 2 days a week. When it gets closer to competition, we'll increase that.
After setting such high expectations, Minstrel Magic has already won 2 grand champions, and both groups anticipate making it to state.
This weekend, actually, we had a 12-hour practice, which was stressful, but it's going to be worth it when we win that grand champion, so I'm not too worried about it.
In addition, Carroll Show Choir will be taking a trip to Florida, entering into a national competition in which groups from all over the United States contend.
We've entered the one in Orlando that's at Universal Studios. So we'll go down there for 4 days, do the competition, and then whoever's in the top 3 from all these different competitions will then go on to the final level, which is held then in Chicago in April. And so we hope to get both of our groups into the finals.
This is Grace Phenicie with Studio 415.
Thanks, Grace. The English department is providing a unique opportunity for students to share their poetry at a downtown coffee shop. Studio 415 reporter Bailey Felger has the details.
Oh, Carol, my Carol, you now have an opportunity to read your poetry in front of an audience. Carroll High School teacher Ashley Ocock has organized a fun night of poetry at a downtown coffee shop this February.
I started doing it my very first year of teaching, and I just saw that in the classroom, if I could get kids involved in poetry, enjoying it, hopefully feeling less afraid of poetry, that they connected with it more and even understood it better.
The poetry reading is a great opportunity for any Carroll student with a love of poetry or even coffee. All are welcome to come and watch their fellow classmates express themselves in a free, non-judgmental environment.
And then I think that the poetry night is a really good idea because it gives everyone a hub where they can actually read their poetry, where people can hear their ideas, because that's why they're going. And I think it gives people a better sense of purpose, and it's a good opportunity.
So this year the poetry reading is at a new place. We've never had it there before. It's a relatively new coffee shop called the Downtown Grind. It's on Pearl and Harrison downtown, pretty close to Coney Island, if you know where that is.
So come on down to the Downtown Grind this February 28th from 6:30 to 7:30 for a fun night of poetry and coffee. For Studio 415, this is Bailey Felger.
Thanks, Bailey. The SAT and ACT are arriving faster than you think. The SAT costs $50 and the ACT costs $35, plus writing, which is $50.50.
The SAT will be held on 2 different dates. To take the test on May 4th, you must register by April 5th. To take the test on June 2nd, then you need to register by May 2nd. To register for the SATs, visit www.collegeboard.org. The testing will be held here at Carroll.
The ACT test will be on April 13th and June 8th, and the registration deadlines are March 8th and May 3rd. To register, visit www.actstudent.org.
Now here's Studio 415's Christian Miller with a recap of boys swimming state finals.
This past weekend, the Carroll boys swim and dive team voyaged down to Indianapolis to compete in the 76th Annual Indiana State Tournament. Representing Carroll were Ryan Husing, Grant Music, Brad Trine, and Brian Niebuhr in the 200 medley relay and the 200 free relay. In the individual events were seniors Grant Music in the 100 breaststroke and Blaine Nichols in the 200 individual medley and the 100 breaststroke. Overall, Carroll tied with Valparaiso at 26 points to come in 17th place at the state meet. Blaine Nichols got 9th place in the 200 IM and 13th place in the 100 breaststroke, while Grant Music barely got ahead of Blaine by finishing 6th place in the 100 breaststroke. For the relays, the 200 free got 17th place, and the 200 medley relay was disqualified. Great job to all the swimmers this past weekend at state. You had a great season, and we're glad to see you accomplish so much at the state level.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Carol, for joining us today.
Our next show will be in 2 weeks on March 13th.
For all of us here at Studio 415, have a great day, Carroll.